And away we go. It is the nightcap brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. You know the drill. www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Go to the website. They will deliver right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up, and you will save 15% off of your order. Lunch and
Patio's
dinner
open.
Wednesday through Sunday. The patio is open. Kelsey and I need to get down there soon. It's been a good weekend. Little trip to Indy for EYBL. I will admit.
Where was that at in Indy? Just out of curiosity.
It's at the Pacers training facility, like where the Pacers
so
like,
downtown
practice. No. Up north in Westfield, roughly probably 25 minutes from downtown.
Okay, I'll just have to find out once we have this baby out. I may be able to do some different things. And summer, my sister lives in Indy, so she's in Fishers.
No, Westfield and Fishers are close.
Okay,
they're not far apart at all. 15 minutes maybe. It's a good time. Here is what is so I love going out when the coaches are out, but it also makes it very difficult for me to watch games when the coaches are out because we don't get nearly as much of it as we used to. Like it used to be.
And you're a social butterfly.
Well, I mean, like part of having sources is seeing those sources and maintaining those sources. And yes, I'm like, I want to talk to all my people. And you do that, and then you realize I haven't really watched any basketball.
That's how I felt at the spring game.
Right. There's just a lot going on. I did get to watch quite a bit. I'm sure Keegan and I are going to Kansas City this coming weekend, and coaches aren't out. So it's just going to be basketball. But I did get a good look at Davion Hannah. I did get a good look at Jalen Reese. I saw TJ Crumble. He was awesome. He had like 19 and 8 in 3 quarters. 19 points, 8 rebounds in 3 quarters. But the team he played was terrible. Like he was like
you can only play the team that's in front of you, though. That's not
I know, but I can't get an accurate judge on. He was literally, Aaron, the ball would come off the glass and he would just jump up, grab the rebound, and then like just softly put it back up into the rim, into the net without any
volleyball set.
It was like he was playing like 8-year-olds, kind of. Like he just bullied them, got the rebound, and just gently laid it back in without much resistance. So I'm looking forward to Kansas City where it was like an introductory weekend. The other thing was everybody wanted to talk to me the past couple of days because everybody wanted to talk about Dillon Mitchell transferring to Cincinnati. You name it. Danny Hurley, Jeff Goodman, my guys at UCLA, national scouts, assistant coaches across the country. Everybody that I bumped into, the first thing they said to me, Dillon Mitchell. That's a big one. So I can unequivocally say people were very impressed. And I put a post on the board last night about this. It was pretty universal that like that is a significant on and off court, and I have to emphasize that on and off court addition for Wes Miller because people raved about his maturity, his perspective, being a top 10 kid, where things have not gone poorly for Dillon Mitchell in college. He has started over 70 games in 2 seasons. Like he is not having did not have a bad experience at Texas. But when you're a top 10 kid, guess what? Your mind says, I'm going to be one and done. Like this college thing ain't for me. And he's going to be entering his 3rd year in college. from the people I talked to, and I don't know Dillon Mitchell. I watched him a little bit because he played with Florida Rebels, and that is a team that Wes Miller has recruited heavily. I watched him at Texas, obviously. I know what I've seen on the floor, but everybody that knows him off the floor said this is a great kid that has a basic understanding of, this is why, this is where I've come. This is why I'm still in college. This is what needs to get better. And he's got a mature outlook on it. And he doesn't think Texas screwed him. He doesn't think like he's gotten the raw end of the deal. He understands he's got more work to do, and he's found a place to do it. So overall, I got a lot out of the weekend because there were a lot of conversations that were had, not just Dillon Mitchell, but Connor Hickman, Arrington Page, the Cincinnati roster, how close they were last year. And then, all I can say is that the overwhelming conversation was that Wes Miller took a team that was close a year ago and on paper made the roster better. And isn't that the whole damn point of the offseason anymore? Is take what you had, make it better. And everybody felt that that was the case with Cincinnati. Aaron, I've talked for 6 minutes. Go ahead.
I'm just going to let you keep going. No, at the end of the day, you're really, that's all you're trying to do is you want to bring players in that make your program better, that make the roster better, that make the points at the end of the day. You need to have more points than the other team. And if you're somehow either able to stop the other team from scoring as many points or put your team in a position to score more of those same points, that's all you want to do. And I can't imagine that Dillon Mitchell's coming in and not improving that. That would be asinine. So yeah, obviously this is a situation that improves this roster. Now you're in crunch time for minutes, wondering who's going to get minutes, where those minutes are going to come from. And I think that you're in a situation now where you have a ton of flexibility, both in the front court and the back court, just with everything that you've done in this offseason. And I am fascinated to see what they do playing with the rosters in the out of conference, because I think that what we see, I think there's going to be two different chapters to this season. I believe. I think you're going to see one thing happen in the out of conference. And then once you get into those 20 games slated for in conference, I think that things are going to be far more dialed in, and you're going to see far less tinkering and more just kind of battening down the hatches and hold on tight.
I would only slightly disagree, because I think there will be 3 iterations, and it essentially breaks down into thirds. The numbers are a little skewed, but essentially breaks down into thirds. Non-conference, where you're figuring it out, and then the first half of conference, where you're going through that conference slate for the first time. And then I think there is a second wave when you get into the back end of conference play. And now I think that's really like, everybody talks about the best teams only play 8, 9, 7, 8 players. Like they have if you've got a good team, you play as many as them as you can up until it really starts to get to like, okay, we're making that final like February into March run. Then you see those numbers start to tighten up, because those are the guys over the first 2/3 of the season, 1, that have earned the playing time, 2, injuries and whatever tend to kind of shake out by then. So by the time you get into February, I do think that's a little different than like the end of December and and January into like the first week or so of February. That's the only like slight adjustment I would make to what you say. I think it goes into 3 parts really. But you would hope there's a legitimate kind of 2 deep that we've talked about at every position. Mitchell is very interesting because I think he can play. I think he's a 4. Like, if you're gonna put him in a box, I think he's a 4. But generally, if you're a 4, you can either be a 4, like if you have versatility as a 4, you're a 4 that either can play some 5, or you're a 4 that can play some 3 if you have versatility. I think Mitchell kind of has both. The most fascinating thing, Aaron, is will he be given the green light to shoot at Cincinnati? Does he earn that in the offseason through individuals and then team workouts, and then once they come together at the start of school, before the start of practice, and then through practice into the beginning of the season? Does he earn the green light into taking threes? He has taken 8 threes in 2 years. He has made 0.
Be a guy, be a little hesitant to give a green light to.
But if you watch his combine tape, his shot is fine. It doesn't look, there's nothing funky. There's nothing, that looks out of place. Texas, I think this is important context. Texas is one of the lowest in terms of percentage of their shots. Texas does not take many 3-pointers under the last in his 2 years. So it will be interesting to see what kind of light. If I had to guess, Aaron, he probably will have a yellow light on 3-point shooting. If you're wide open and somebody passes you the ball, there's nobody around, okay. And then we'll go from there. Like, you can take those first, and if you can make those, then maybe we'll get a little bit more bold. But
so he's Vic 2 years ago.
Maybe. Well, Vic even 2 years ago wasn't. He had a red light. He just sometimes ran the red light.
Well,
Vic last year had a yellow light, and he always ran the yellow light.
There were no yellow lights for Vic. He did not.
That's because he was
colorblind.
He thought they were green.
They're all green. I don't know.
They were yellow. He thought they were green. So that part's going to be interesting. But man, Aaron, if you'd have told me coming into this, they were going to go get one of the best, kind of mid-major shooter scorer guards that was probably the best guard in the Valley. You can debate how good the Valley is, but either way, if you go get the best guard out of a mid-major league, that's pretty good. And then you get a top 50 combo big man, 4'5", that's 6'11", and was obviously highly thought of coming out of high school. And then you go replace John Newman, which is our concern. I think that was our biggest concern. I like everything, but where's the John Newman? Like, who is that guy? And then you go get a guy that I think has the potential to be a better version of John Newman, who was a top 10 prospect in the country coming out of high school, who has started 71 games in the Big 12.
Top 5, according to some.
Right. But just being conservative, he was a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
And he started 70-plus games on a Big 12 team.
Well, and it's not as if Texas is like a lower tier Big 12 team. Like, Texas was in basketball.
His freshman year, they made the Elite 8.
Texas has always been highly respected. Always. So
he scored.
It's crazy, though.
He had a double-double against UConn. Danny was very impressed by him when I talked to Danny about it. He's like, that kid's good.
It's crazy, the log jam now at the 3-4 spots. Because I
still don't think there's a log jam. I think it'll figure itself out. You have Dan, you have Seamoss, you have Mitchell. Those are your 3 proven guys at those 2 spots.
Sure. But there's still a lot of guys there.
You have Rayvon, you have Josh, you have Betsy. That
McKinley,
3 guys kind of, and then McKinley. I think McKinley probably in year 1, if he's going to be on the floor, slots more as maybe a backup 5, maybe as that third 5. as it was pointed out to me, they did use 4 centers last year. Aziz, Jamil, Vic, Odie all played center at some point last year. So before you're just earmarking Tyler for a red shirt, McKinley, they use if Tyler's the third or the fourth 5, it's a decent chance there's going to be some opportunity for him there. I mean, we're going to have all summer to break down the matchups and the roster and the rotations.
What a season to get the green light, though, to go to summer practices.
I know. And guess what? I have a 13-year-old that believes that she has now been invited to summer practices. So every day, Dad, are we going to workouts today? Dad, are we going to workouts today? Dad, are we going to workouts today?
Here's where you messed up. Where you messed up, though, was making it public knowledge that they opened this up for summer practices. Because had you kept it quiet, maybe none of the other media members find out, and you can continue to just talk about little birdies.
I mean, it was a change in the rule. Like, it was highlighted by people in the national media that the rules changed.
I joke.
Okay. Before we go, I have a story I have to tell.
Oh, we got 3.5 minutes. Yeah.
It'll be a fairly quick one. So Saturday morning, we go to the main gym. So they had the 17 under kids, all the 2025 class kids playing in like the main gym. And then the 16 and under kids were playing at a place that was like 25 minutes away. Brand new place. Dude, they had like an arena for like one of the main court. And then they had 7 other courts. They also, if you walk down the hallway, they had like an indoor football facility that was like 50 yards that was nicer than the Bengals bubble. And they had pickleball courts. The place was awesome. But anyhow, so we're at the main gym. We go there and then watch the game. Then we had to go to the 16 and under gym to watch TJ Crumble. So we're walking out of the main gym. And Kelsey's probably 5 steps in front of me. And she's got a UC Nike like long sleeve black shirt on. Coming this way is Sean Miller. And he looks down and he sees the C-paw on her chest and gives the natural reaction that, like, if Wes was walking through there and saw somebody with an X on her chest, would have given him like the resting bitch face, kind of, right?
Sure.
And I'm like 5 steps behind Kelsey, and I see this happen, and I am laughing hysterically out loud, like just rolling. And Sean looks at her and kind of mean mugs her, respectively. It wasn't anything crazy, but he walks past her, and then he looks up and sees me, and I think he understood at that point in time, oh, it's Brendel's daughter. Like, so he kind of smirked at me, like, just an acknowledgement of like, pretty funny. And Kelsey turns around to me and goes, "Who the fuck was that?" Because she saw him give her what she perceived as a dirty look. I'm not done. Hold on. So I'm like, that was Sean Miller, Xavier coach. Why did you look at me like that? I'm like, you're wearing a C-paw. Like, of course he looked at you like that. I don't like him. And then later in the day, he did it again. I think he was in on the joke this time. Did it again. And she was like, you know how Kelsey can get.
Oh, yeah, I get those same looks from her. Well aware.
It was so funny, dude. It was so funny. Oh, boy. All right. That'll wrap it up. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!